With the launch of the Quest 3S, the Quest 328GB has been retired, and with that, they've been selling them for cheaper, and they're already nearly sold out everywhere. The Quest 328GB originally launched at $499, and when the 3S launched, they said they were going to discontinue it, sell off all the stock they had for about $430, and now the only remaining Quest 3 that was going to continue to sell is the 512GB at the $499 price, making people who had just bought the Quest 3 128 recently probably a little upset that they paid $500 and now instantly 4 times the storage was that same price. But if you're in the market for a Quest 3S or a Quest 3 and you can still grab one of these Quest 3s at $70 off, that's really the best deal right now on any headset. Although at the time of recording, there's very few places left that even have this. B&H Photo still seems to have some. They've popped up a few times on Amazon, although it looks like they're completely sold out now. But there is also some options for refurbished ones all the way down to $379. If you haven't gotten your 3S or a 3 and you're still in the market, I'll leave some links down below to whatever sales I can find that are still valid at the time this video launches. Ultimately, as I said in the full review, which I'll leave a link at the end of the video, if you're in the market for a headset, you've never owned one, the Quest 3S is a great place to start. But ultimately, if you can stretch that extra, especially if you can get a Quest 3 for this low of a price, the 3 is still the top headset to get right now. Over on the gaming side of things, we've talked about Strike Rush a couple times. Strike Rush is a 4v4 multiplayer shooter with some interesting mechanics. There's a Blitzmon pet that you have in the game that helps you along the way, and there's Colossus that spawn as you get later in level, which are actually really fun to hop into and fight out as a mech, shooting all the little people and taking them out. But Strike Rush actually reached out and gave us some insider information before it launches, and now their big overhaul update for Quest is out. They're offering new characters, blitzers, Blitzmon pets, new stage, weapon, game mode. Now there's gonna be a team deathmatch in this, and those death matches are gonna go across all the stages, including the new one. If you haven't tried it yet, it's currently $20, although I will leave a link that'll help save you some money if you're interested in it. The game's got a 4.8 rating, with a lot of people rating and playing it so far, saying things like it's their absolute favorite VR game. People are really excited for this update. They like the Blitzmon, which is the pet that you get to have in it. Thanks to Strike Rush for sponsoring this news. Thanks to them for giving us this information early so we can get it out to you. We love when we get something exclusive like that. And if you want to check it out, there'll be links in the description and comments down below. As the 3S is now launched and available to the public, it's starting to make it into the hands of more and more reviewers, and iFixit finally got their hands on one for a teardown. I'll leave a link at the end to their full video if you're interested in watching it. But basically, they said as they were able to tear it down, they were a little surprised, but something we expect over here, that they found a lot of the same components from the Quest 2 inside of the Quest 3S, including the entire lens housing, the lenses themselves, the IPD adjustment, and they pointed out a cool fact that with all the Quest 2s that are broken out there, that means as 3Ss get older, if they need to be repaired, people can probably get parts for them pretty easily. One thing that did surprise us, the actual display itself behind the lenses is slightly different. It does look like it has a better sub-pixel layout, which may account for the fact that games do seem a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more bright on the 3S, and this may have been done also to help with the translation of that mixed reality. They pointed out how there is no proximity sensor on it, but mentioned how people were actually having issues with the Quest 2, where when too much sweat would get into that proximity sensor, people actually had them melt on them. Basically, it would short circuit from moisture getting back there, so they thought that might have been a good idea to get rid of it just because of that. They substantiated that the Quest 3S does have a 22% higher capacity battery in it than the Quest 2, a 17 watt hour instead of a 14 watt hour. But iFixit always finds a way to make teardowns interesting, even if you're not someone who's really into the hardcore technical inside specs of something. So I'd recommend checking out the video if you're interested. In the gaming world, a big surprise when maybe somebody made a mistake over at Meta and accidentally launched Batman Arkham Shadow 12 hours early. It was supposed to be coming out on the 22nd and launched the night of the 21st instead. A few other surprises. It was revealed that Elijah Wood is actually the one playing the Scarecrow in the new game. Cool to see big names making it into our VR games. And it's a good reminder that if you recently got a Quest 3S or a Quest 3, you are entitled to Batman for free. We got to try it out early back in Seattle, and the game not only looks really good, it does play really well. Although I got a little frustrated how if I wanted to throw punches fast, it slows you down, which makes sense. They don't want it to just be a slap boxing game, but it was definitely a learning curve of getting used to how to throw your punches if you're used to something fast like Supernatural. So as long as you got your headset since September 25th, you can get Batman free all the way up until the end of April. So make sure if you haven't done that, the game's fully out, go get it for free, play it, check it out, and let me know what you think in the comments. One of the biggest complaints about the new Quest 3S is that it does not have an auxiliary port anymore for people to use their own headphones with. Although I may have found a solution, I'm working on a review for you on some things. We'll circle back around to that. But in the meantime, Meta has promised they're going to make a software update that's actually going to reduce the Bluetooth audio latency on the Quest, meaning that Bluetooth headphones or earbuds could actually be a decent solution. If you've tried it before, you know that some of them have really bad latency, and ultimately what you need is headphones that come with their own and low latency dongle, which ends up taking up your USB port. And especially like the Razer ones that were specifically made for Meta that reviewed, they didn't even have a pass-through way to continue charging the headset, so you couldn't use your battery strap with that low latency dongle anymore. Meta pointed out here that of course you can use USB headphones, but ultimately they are planning an Android update for the Meta Horizon OS itself that will reduce this Bluetooth audio latency. This is early and obviously this hasn't rolled out yet, but we'll keep you updated on this, and when it comes out we'll test it out with Bluetooth and see if it actually works now, if it's low enough latency you don't need those dongles anymore, because that would be a pretty huge improvement, something I wish they would have had ready by the launch, but what can you do? Another big complaint about VR headsets in general is the field of view being too small, and the fact that as we see more and more headsets come out, it seems like field of view is kind of stagnating and not continuing to expand like other things like resolution. When I'm talking about field of view, if you've ever had a VR headset on your face, you know how it's kind of a binocular effect. You don't have all of your peripheral vision. You kind of feel like you're looking into two tunnels at the screens. That's field of view. And a lot of headsets range from about 90 to 110 degrees, where the human eyes perceive about 220 degrees. So we're losing over half of our field of view when we're in VR. Unfortunately, as we've seen from other headset manufacturers like Pimax, who are trying really hard to make a wider field of view, it is a big problem. Not only does it take up more space on your face, it's more weight, it's more heat. You have to have special lenses that allow you to look to the side and still see the screen clearly. It's a ton more computational power to run all of that resolution off to the sides of the screen. And ultimately, the trade-off of going higher resolution and using the chipset for that has meant that most headsets have stuck to that smaller field of view. Well, Boz showed off a photo of holding one of their own prototypes of a wide field of view headset. And as you can see, it does look familiar. It looks kind of like a Pimax headset, although it's obviously a prototype here with all of the cables and the way the screens look. But you have to have really wide lenses inside of the headset that don't distort when you look over to the side. It's good to know that at least they're working on this and that a solution may be coming, because it is a big loss of field of view. Although I will say personally, from having tried multiple headsets, some with wider field of view, once you get immersed into a game, you kind of forget about the fact that you're losing that much field of view. But it would be huge, especially for games like driving simulators or flying, where you can actually look to the side and still see instead of having to crank your neck around so hard. So it is a problem I hope we continue to see solutions for. But what do you think? Would you rather continue upping the resolution? Would you rather get that wider field of view, or do you just need a lighter, more comfortable headset you can wear more? The 3S seems to be off to a great start with sales so far. We've seen places saying that their numbers are way up, but surprisingly, another one of Meta's sets of glasses, the Ray-Bans, are actually the top selling glasses in a lot of their Ray-Ban stores. The new Meta Ray-Ban glasses, you've probably seen me using them on the channel. Bluetooth capability, they have speakers in them to play music, cameras, AI, microphones, and ultimately, although they seem kind of high priced at like $300, just the Ray-Ban name on a set of sunglasses often still costs you $200, so you're not paying that much more for the features. But apparently people who are used to coming to these Ray-Ban stores and paying a high price for Ray-Bans are coming in after these new Ray-Ban smart glasses. We reviewed the first gen of them and I told you I didn't care for them. I didn't think they were very good. And then when the second gen came out, I did see now the pictures, video were actually usable. The sound was really good. It was loud enough even in loud situations that I could still listen to music. And I mostly use them for traveling because you can hear music, but also you can still hear them making an announcement at your gate about your flight, or you can take pictures and video even hands-free if you want to, which is pretty cool. So I'm not surprised to see that they're selling, but I am interested in seeing what a third gen would be like. And then of course, eventually when we get to the point where the new Orion glasses that have full AR can be small enough and cheap enough to actually fit into something like a set of Ray-Bans, that will be an amazing day. But it shows that the future AR, VR is looking brighter. We're seeing more things selling. We're seeing more major IPs and games in the space. I'm really excited to get to share all of that with you. What out there are you excited for? Are you already in Batman? Are you playing it? Are you waiting on Behemoth, Metro, Alien? We got a good lineup of games coming this year, which is exciting. Let me know in the comments down below, but I want to say thank you once again for being here with me, and I'll see you in another reality.